Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Weather Painter deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun deck to play that I've included all sorts of spicy tech cards in this build for you guys. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Snow. Snow is the best normal summon in the entire deck, because when this card is normal summon, you can actually place one the weather, spell, or trap from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone, which is an amazing ability to instantly get one of the cards that you need directly from your deck onto your side of the field. And all of your weather monsters actually share a common effect that once per turn during the standby phase of the turn after this card was banished from the field to activate one of your weather card effects, you can actually special summon this banished card, which is a great ability just to bring your weather monsters back to your side of the field so you can swarm and get their effects off again, which is absolutely amazing. We're then playing 3 copies of Thunder. Thunder is definitely a 3 of as well in the deck that lets you send a face-up continuous spell or trap you control to the graveyard to place one the weather spell or trap from your deck face-up in your spell and trap card zone, helping you get the exact card you need on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Cloud. Cloud is definitely a 3 of as well in the deck to help you recover your cards out of the graveyard, as if another face-up the weather card you control is sent to the graveyard, you can actually target up to 2 the weather spells or traps in your graveyard and place them face-up in your spell and trap card zone, helping you get your cards back on your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Sun. You only need a single copy of Sun in the deck because we are playing Shifter in this build, so this card is just a 1 of in the deck. This card has the ability, if this card's in the graveyard, you can actually send one face-up continuous spell or trap you control to the graveyard to special summon this card in defense position, and if you do, place one the weather spell or trap from your hand face-up in your spell and trap card zone, which is a pretty cool effect, but since we are playing cards like Shifter, I feel like 1 is really all you need in the deck because we're just using it as an additional name in the build. So we have a total of 10 different weathers that we can normal summon without tributing to our side of the field so they can gain their bonus effects off the spells and traps. We then play a single copy of Aurora. Aurora is amazing to be able to give us a little bit of protection for our back row. This card has the ability, with its normal summon, you can actually place one the weather spell or trap from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your spell and trap card zone. And also your opponent cannot target the weather spells and traps that you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either, which is a great effect just to give you a little bit of protection. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is definitely a 3 of in the build just to stop the opponent from touching the deck. We then also play 3 copies of Shifter. Shifter's definitely a 3 of as well in the deck because we really don't care about the graveyard in this build. So this card is amazing in the build. Basically just shut down the graveyard because in a lot of matchups you can instantly win the game by dropping Shifter against the opponent. And this card is absolutely amazing in this deck. So that's it for our monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is very important in this build to help us get to our copy of our field spell, the Weather Forecast. We then play a single copy of Rainy Canvas. Rainy Canvas is really cool, and all of your weather canvases actually share a common effect, that the weather effect monster in your main monster zone of this card's column and its adjacent columns gain this effect, which is really cool to basically give the monsters directly above this card and to either the left and right of this card's column actually gain a really cool ability, with this card giving those monsters the effect that you can banish this card and then target a spell or trap that your opponent controls and quick effect return it back to the hand, which is a great effect to be able to basically banish your weather monster off the field and then basically return one spell or trap your opponent controls back to the hand, which is a really cool effect. We then play 3 copies of Snowy Canvas. Snowy Canvas is really good to give your monsters a awesome bonus effect that you can banish this card as a quick effect and then add one the weather card from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot add cards from your deck to your hand for the rest of the turn except by drawing them, which is not that big of a deal because by that time we've already got the exact card we need. We then play 3 copies of Forecast. Forecast is insane as a field spell. This card is amazing. It has the ability, when it's activated, you can actually place one, the weather spell or trap, from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone. And also, if you link summon a weather link monster, you can also use face up the weather cards you control in your spell and trap card zone as the weather monsters for the link summon, which is amazing to help you link summon your copy of Moonbow or Rainbow, which is absolutely crazy. This card is definitely a 3-of in the build. Also, this card gives us an additional normal summon of one of our weather monsters from our hand, which is amazing to help us swarm the board with more weather monsters, which is absolutely amazing. This card is an amazing field spell and just helps out so much in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is really good in the deck to help us dig into the deck for the exact card that we need. We then also play 3 copies of Super Poly. Super Poly is really good in the deck as a 3-of to break the opponent's board and fusion summon into an awesome boss monster on our side of the field. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Rainbowed Canvas. Rainbowed Canvas is really good as a 1-of in the build, as this card gives your monsters a really cool effect that if your opponent controls a monster, quick effect, you can banish this card to special summon one the weather monster with a different name from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon other monsters from the deck for the rest of the turn, which is not that big of a deal, but it's really good to help you dodge hand traps for your weather monsters. We then play 2 copies of Thundery Canvas. Thundery Canvas is really good as a 2-of in the build because this card helps you in the battle phase that at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can actually banish this card and return that opponent's monster back to the hand, which is a great effect to give your weather monsters that ability, basically just to bounce cards off the field, which is amazing. This card is really good in the deck as a 2-of. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is definitely a 3-of just to stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. We then play 3 copies of Skill Drain. Skill Drain basically does nothing to us, and this card is really good in the deck overall to be able to activate against the opponent. And just like Shifter, this card can be activated and instantly win you a game, which is absolutely amazing. But this card is really good in the deck overall to basically flip against the opponent and shut down the board. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with 2 copies of Moonbow. Moonbow is an amazing 2-of in the build and one of our main boss monsters. This card is super easy to summon now that we can use the copy of the Forecast, our field spell, to be able to make this card. And this card has the ability, if this card is link summon, you can special summon one of your banished the weather monsters, and if this link summon card is destroyed, you can actually special summon one of your copies of Rainbow from your extra deck, which is amazing to be able to just instantly summon out a copy of Rainbow from your extra deck, essentially tagging out for this card. This card also has the ability to quick effect that this card gives your weather monsters. This card points to the following effect: that quick effect, you can banish this card, target one monster your opponent controls, and banish it until the standby phase of the next turn, basically getting a monster off the field. We then play 2 copies of Rainbow. Rainbow is an amazing boss monster for the deck, and really cool because this card actually makes your monsters negates. This card has the ability that when your opponent would special summon a monster, quick effect, you can send this link summon card to the graveyard to negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. Also, once per turn, during the standby phase of the turn after this card was banished from the field, to activate a weather card effect, you can actually special summon this banished card, and also the weather effect monsters this card points to gains the following effects. Then when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can banish this card to negate the activation if you do destroy that card, which is a really cool effect. You then play a single copy of Access Code Talker just to be able to pop multiple cards on the field because it's super easy to summon out our boss monster Rainbow and then easily step into this card to pop multiple cards on the field and get us a massive boss monster to help us go in for game. And play a single copy of Unicorn to spin stuff, 1 copy of SP Little Knight to be able to use this card as a double interruption. If you don't have SP Little Knight, you can change this card out for a copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps, which is another option for you guys for a budget option for this deck. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena. IP is great in the deck as a 1-up to basically just use this card to step into SP or Unicorn during the opponent's turn. We then play a single copy of Dracostapelia because this card is a walking negate and an amazing super poly target. One copy of Garua and a single copy of Mud Dragon. These cards are also really good in the deck to be able to use basically as super poly targets. We then play a single copy of Fortune Tune because we do play a lot of level 3s in this deck, so we can easily make this card and then attack. It's very easy to protect this card and basically just go in for a copy of Downer during main phase 2 and then step into a copy of Zeus. And the reason we play the Downer is to give Zeus an additional material because Zeus just needs to board wipe the field sometimes. We then play a single copy of Typhon for the last card of the extract. This card is really good in the deck overall because every time you need this card, it's there in the extract, and it's just a really good card to be able to use in just about any deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a weather deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's super fun to be able to play, to basically just summon out your weather cards to your side of the field and control the board with your canvas cards. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of notifications. Go ahead and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.